Hey Hussein, I'm taking a class which is FCS 449, Family, Ethnicities, and Subcultures. As part of my major, we have been learning about issues and how they impact diverse families. My professor has asked that we interview someone. Do you give me permission?
Yes, I gave you permission.
Awesome. Okay, so tell me a little bit about yourself. What do you do? Where were you raised? What's your favorite food and colors? I guess you could start off by saying, what do you do?
Well, I'm 19 years old. I work at a pharmacy. I'm a pharmacy technician. Go to school. I live with my parents. We're a pretty close family. That's how our culture raised us to be. Pretty closely family. I help my parents out. Sometimes I pay some bills if they need help with that. But other than that, I'm an average 19-year-old. I stay with my parents, going to school.
Cool. So where were you raised?
I was born in Iraq, Baghdad, and I was raised there. I lived there for 10 years. Moved here when I was about 10 and a half, 11 years old. So I finished elementary school up to 5th grade there.
Cool.
And then when I came here, I had to learn English, and they actually sent me back. I was supposed to be a 6th grader, but they sent me back to 5th grade, so that way it's easier for me to learn the language.
Oh, cool. Okay, so can you tell me what your favorite color and food is?
I think my favorite color is black. That's why I'm wearing black right now. I'm just more of a bigger fan of the darker colors. I think my favorite food will probably be pizza. It's very simple, basic.
So the second question I have is, how do you identify yourself in terms of race ethnicity? How closely do you identify and affiliate with your culture?
Personally, I'm not very close with my culture. I spent more time here in America than I have spent there. But I think I identify myself more closely to Latinos and Hispanics than to my own culture because of how long I've been here. But I still keep in touch with the good traditions that my culture likes to practice.
Awesome. Nice.
Yeah.
So the next question I have is, what are some of your family customs and roles of members in your culture? What is your role? What are some customs in your family?
My family's a traditional Arabic family. We're a really big family. I have 3 uncles and 6 aunts, and they each got at least 4 kids. So we're a pretty big family. We get along pretty well. I wouldn't say that everybody has a specific role in the family, but I'm the youngest cousin out of all of them. So I guess my job is being the youngest cousin. Everybody takes care of me, even though I can take care of myself. But yeah, that's basically it, really.
Oh, awesome. Also, I just want to say, sorry if it's kind of noisy, but we are outside of a Starbucks. So my next question is, what religious or spiritual beliefs, if any, are influential in your culture and for your family?
Well, we are Arabs, so most Arabs are usually Muslims, so I identify as a Muslim. Islam is a really strict religion, so they don't. There's a lot of things that we can't do. There's a lot of things that it makes it hard living in a country like this, in this society, because they do a lot of things that my culture and my religion doesn't like. So I personally am not very. I don't believe in it fully. But at the same time, I believe in certain things that I see are right. I don't believe in whatever I see is wrong.
Right.
But it's kind of hard because my parents are, they're not strict, but they like to stay close, so that way we don't lose our background and our history. But I try to cope with it.
Awesome. That's great. So the next question is, what are your family beliefs around child rearing and discipline?
The way my parents raised me was they would always discipline me about any little thing. I was raised to be a respectful person, not to disrespect anybody in front of me, no matter what race, no matter what religion they are, and just respect mostly the adults. Even if they're rude to you, you always have to be respectful and be nice to them, because the way I was raised, they taught me that basically if you're a good person, you'll get good things in life. So you should treat people the way that you want them to treat you.
Awesome. That's great. So the next question I have is, what would be characteristics and practices of people who are considered to be excellent parents in your culture? It's your parents, you said that they're strict. What are some characteristics that make a good parent in your culture?
A good parent is somebody that can relate to their children and not drive them away by being too strict, because that's what causes rebellion. And I think it's number one thing is for them to be close to their children and understand what kind of things they go through and try to relate to them. But at the same time, they have to be strict because, again, for people like me that come from a different culture, they come here to see different things they want to try out, and if their parents don't want them to get mixed into that society and that culture, then they have to be a little bit stricter on them. And I think, I have cousins like that. Their parents are strict on them, but they're strict to a good level, so that way they don't drive away their sons or their
Awesome.
daughters.
That's good to know. So the next question I have is, what is your definition of multiculturalism?
I think multiculturalism is just a mix of more than one culture into a society, kind of like El Paso. Like I see myself as somebody that's I identify myself as somebody from multiple cultures because first of all, I'm Arab, but I've been here longer than I've been in my home country, so I relate to two cultures, maybe even three: the American culture, the Mexican culture, and the Arabic culture. So I think it's just a mixture of two or more cultures in a person.
Awesome. All right. So the next question I have is, have you ever experienced racism or prejudice? If so, what was it like for you? What happened? If not, what do you think has like contributed to like not having experienced it?
Well, I personally haven't had any racism against me. I mean, I think everybody here in El Paso is very nice. Everybody here they're kind of very similar to the people back in my hometown, in my culture. They're very accepting. They welcome everybody, and it's a small town, so you don't really see a lot of diversity in it. Even though there's a lot of cultures here, but I think that since it's a small town, everybody gets along very well. So I haven't had anything against me. I get along with everybody, and everybody that I tell that I'm from a different race and different religion and everything, they think it's actually really something really nice, and they try to learn about it instead of making fun of it.
Awesome. That's really good to hear. I'm glad to hear it. So the next one I have is, what would you want future generations to know about diversity?
I think diversity is important because I think it's not a good thing to have too much of one thing. I think it's good to be diverse and meet people from different places, people from different religions and races and cultures, because that also brings education to a person. And then I think the more educated somebody is about that kind of stuff, the more understanding they are, and the better the person they become.
All right. So the last question I have kind of ties into it. And it's, what are your hopes for what are your hopes for what the future holds in terms of diversity, like future-wise?
I hope that everybody, because there is some people that don't understand diversity. I just hope that in the future generations, the younger kids, they all understand what diversity is and that it's very important to us. I just hope that we don't drive people away from us just because they're a different culture or different something. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So that actually concludes all my questions. I just want to say thank you for sitting down with me and helping me. Just a little background. Me and Hussein worked at H&M together. And he recently left, and you're now working at a pharmacy, so that's cool. So I just want to say thanks, and if you could just say bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.